Do you often say yes when deep down you want to say no? Do you feel drained, constantly trying to keep everyone around you happy, even at the cost of your own peace? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. In today's world, being agreeable is often mistaken for being virtuous. But there's a difference between kindness and self-sacrifice. People-pleasing can become a silent prison, one where we trade our own values for the fleeting comfort of others' approval. The Stoics saw this clearly. Long before social media likes and constant connectivity, they warned us against living for the applause of the crowd. As Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Why? Because growth often means choosing principle over popularity. This video is a guide. We'll walk through 6 Stoic-inspired steps to help you stop being a people-pleaser, not by becoming harsh or distant, but by becoming centered, courageous, and free. It's time to reclaim your peace. To stop chasing validation and start living in alignment with your deepest values. Let's begin. Number 1. Understand your worth. Man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems. Epictetus. At the heart of people-pleasing lies a quiet fear. What if they don't like me? We imagine rejection. We dread judgment. We shapeshift, hoping to be accepted, believing that our worth rises or falls based on how others see us. But the Stoics challenge this illusion. Epictetus reminds us that our anxieties often don't come from reality itself, but from our thoughts about reality. We fear disapproval not because it truly harms us, but because we've wrongly made it the measure of our value. Here's the truth. Your worth isn't something others give you. It's not in their praise or their criticism. It's in how you choose to live, how you act, speak, and stand by your principles. A person of virtue knows that value is internal, not performative. You are not lesser because someone misunderstands you. You are not broken because someone walks away. When you understand your worth, you stop begging for it. So ask yourself, am I living to be seen? Or living to be whole? That's where your power begins. Number 2. Set clear boundaries. Setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's a practice of courage and wisdom. People-pleasers often fear that saying no or drawing a line will make them seem unkind or difficult. But in truth, boundaries are not walls that shut others out, they're gates that protect what matters most within. And as the Stoics teach, it takes strength to guard your inner peace. Epictetus reminds us of the dichotomy of control. There are things within our power, our thoughts, our actions, and things beyond it, others' opinions, demands, or behavior. When you set a boundary, you're choosing to focus on what you control, what you allow into your time, your mind, and your heart. Imagine your soul as a walled city. Without boundaries, it's open to chaos. Anyone can enter, rearrange your priorities, drain your energy. But with wisdom, you become a thoughtful gatekeeper. Not everyone gets access. Not every request deserves a yes. Boundaries are how we honor ourselves while still acting with kindness. They don't push people away, they bring you closer to the life you were meant to live. So reflect, where in your life have you let the gate stay too wide open? And what would it feel like to finally close it with calm, steady hands? Number 3. Learn to say no. Learning to say no is one of the most powerful shifts a people-pleaser can make. Not with bitterness, not with guilt, but with grace and clarity. We often rush to say yes out of fear of disappointing, of conflict, of not being liked. But Stoicism teaches us to pause and choose wisely. As Marcus Aurelius said, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. That applies to commitments too. If saying yes means abandoning your values, your time, or your peace, it's not the right path. The Stoic way is deliberate. Pause, reflect, respond. Don't react from anxiety. Respond from principle. Saying no is not rejection, it's redirection. It's choosing what aligns with your truth over what simply pleases the moment. And when done with intention, it becomes an act of virtue, an expression of wisdom, courage, and self-respect. Think of it this way, every no to something misaligned is a yes to something essential, your purpose, your health, your peace of mind. So the next time you feel pressure to agree, ask yourself, is this a true yes? Or a fearful one? Then choose with strength. Choose with stillness. Number 4. Accept that you can't please everyone. This is where real acceptance begins, not in words, but in practice. As a people pleaser, you may feel responsible for how others feel, think, or react. You tiptoe around discomfort, soften your truth, or overextend yourself, hoping to keep the peace. But peace built on self-erasure isn't peace at all. The Stoics teach us to focus only on what is within our control: our thoughts, our choices, our character. Other people's opinions, emotions, and expectations? Those are not yours to carry. Trying to please everyone is like chasing the wind. No matter how kind, generous, or selfless you are, someone will still disapprove, misunderstand, or want more. And that's okay. When you release the illusion that you can, or should, make everyone happy, a heavy weight lifts. You become free to act with integrity, not anxiety. You stop editing yourself for approval and start honoring your truth. This is not cruelty. It's clarity. You can be compassionate without being consumed. You can care without carrying. So ask yourself, whose happiness have I made my responsibility? And what would it look like to return that burden, gently, and walk forward in freedom? Number 5. Stop seeking approval. A man must stand erect, not be kept erect by others. Seneca. When we seek approval, we hand over our power. We begin to rely on praise to feel confident, on attention to feel seen, on validation to feel worthy. But the Stoics knew this path leads only to instability. Because what others give, they can take away. Seneca reminds us, true strength comes from standing on your own. Not in pride, but in principle. Not because others support you, but because your values hold you upright. Approval seeking weakens our autonomy. We begin to perform, rather than live. We shape our choices around what will be applauded, not what is right. Slowly, we drift away from who we are, and closer to who we think others want us to be. But the Stoic path is different. It calls us inward, to our inner diamond, our guiding reason, our true nature. When we live in harmony with that, we no longer need applause. We become steady, self-directed, and free. So reflect, are you living for your own respect, or for someone else's reaction? Stand firm in what is true. Let your worth be measured not by approval, but by alignment, with reason, with virtue, with yourself. Number 6. Prioritize self-respect over praise. Praise can feel good in the moment, a quick hit of validation, a nod of approval. But as the Stoics knew, it's fleeting. It comes and goes with mood, with trends, with the shifting winds of opinion. Self-respect, on the other hand, endures. It's the quiet, unshakable sense that you've lived in line with your values, even when no one's watching, even when others disapprove. The Stoics didn't chase praise. In fact, they often went against the crowd. Epictetus was born a slave and still taught kings. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor, wrote in private about virtue and restraint while ruling in public. Seneca dared to speak truth to power, knowing the risk. Why? Because they valued integrity over image. They knew that applause fades, but character echoes. When you prioritize self-respect, you stop performing and start living. You speak honestly, act deliberately, and choose what's right, not what's popular. You no longer live for the eyes of others, but for the peace within your own soul. So ask yourself, would I still make this choice if no one ever praised me for it? Let that question guide you. Because living with integrity, that's the highest form of respect there is. Now ask yourself, who are you when no one's watching? That's where real freedom begins. Remember, Stoicism isn't about being cold or distant. It's about being clear about who you are, what matters, and how you choose to live. If this message resonates, like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and drop a comment. What's one boundary you're working on today? And don't forget to subscribe for more practical Stoic wisdom, because in a noisy world, peace begins with principles.